Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Resident Evil Apocalypse Fun Facts. In our last video, we delved into some intriguing and mind-blowing tidbits about this action horror flick, from behind-the-scenes secrets to hidden Easter eggs. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. Today, we're diving even deeper into the world of Resident Evil Apocalypse. So get ready for more jaw-dropping facts, and maybe even a few revelations that will change the way you see this movie forever. So sit back, relax, and let's uncover the hidden gems of this controversial flick. And a usual reminder that this video will contain heavy spoilers. Resident Evil Apocalypse introduces the character Angela Ashford, a character loosely based on Sherry Birkin from the Resident Evil video games, particularly Resident Evil 2, where Sherry is rescued by Claire. While the novelization of Resident Evil Extinction provides a possible explanation for Angela's fate, suggesting that she was killed by Alice when she was under Umbrella's control, the films themselves have not provided a definitive answer. This leaves Angela's story open to interpretation and speculation, leaving her fate a mystery within the franchise's lore. This movie is the only theatrically released film to feature undead children prior to Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. The inclusion of child zombies added an additional element of horror and unsettling moments to the film, further emphasizing the terrifying consequences of the T-virus outbreak. The original script for this movie planned for Jill Valentine and Alice to meet up early on. However, director Paul W.S. Anderson decided to change it as he wanted two separate storylines occurring simultaneously for both Jill and Alice, and for them to meet a little later in the film. While filming a thrilling chase scene with Nemesis, Milla Jovovich had a minor mishap. As she was supposed to leap over a fence to evade the relentless enemy, her arms became entangled in the wires connected to her harness. The unexpected incident briefly interrupted the filming process, but fortunately, it was quickly resolved without any serious injuries. Jovovich continued to deliver a powerful performance, showcasing her commitment to bringing the action-packed scenes to life. Critics often criticize the sexualization of female characters in the early Resident Evil films, particularly Alice and Jill's revealing attire. However, it's important to note that much of this was accurate to the games, like Jill's iconic outfit. Despite their appearance, these characters remained strong and capable, demonstrating that their femininity did not hinder their abilities. Compared to the more explicit content present in early film adaptation attempts, the Resident Evil films were relatively tame, avoiding excessive sexual or nudity scenes. One example of a more gratuitous scene, which was ultimately removed, involved Jill's top being ripped off by a zombie, revealing her breasts. Such content was more prevalent in earlier drafts, but was ultimately toned down for the final films. The dogs featured in the film were real animals with applied makeup and prosthetics, just like in the first film, and were not computer-generated. This practical approach helped ensure the authenticity and realism in the scene. However, training the dogs to maintain the makeup and prosthetics proved to be a challenge. The dogs' natural instincts to lick and groom themselves often led to the removal of their special effects, requiring constant supervision and adjustments. Sony created a fake newspaper that established Leon S. Kennedy as Jill Valentine's partner, stating that he was killed by monsters during a patrol in the Arklay Mountains, before the outbreak in Raccoon City. This backstory, however, isn't consistent with the events of the film itself, as Leon would later appear in Resident Evil Retribution, 2012. The opening scene of the movie features a weather map that places Raccoon City in a geographically accurate location. The map shows the city positioned approximately where Philadelphia is in Pennsylvania, with other real-world towns like Selinsgrove, Hazleton, and Pottsville appearing in their correct geographic positions. This attention to detail puts a realistic setting to the film, helping to ground the fictional world of Raccoon City in a familiar and recognizable context. Alexander Witt, who had previously worked as a cameraman on successful films like The Bourne Identity and Pirates of the Caribbean, made his directorial debut with Resident Evil Apocalypse. This was a significant step in his career, as he transitioned from behind the camera to the director's chair. After completing this project, Witt returned to his roots as a cameraman, working on other films. However, it would be 14 years before he would take on another directing role. Nemesis is equipped with a deadly arsenal. His trademark weapon is a rocket launcher, capable of delivering devastating firepower. He also wields a modified General Electric M134 minigun, a weapon known for its rapid-fire capabilities. To give the minigun a more menacing appearance, the armorer Charles Taylor made significant modifications. He shortened the barrels to 14 inches and added muzzle brakes that redirect the burning gunpowder, creating a visually striking plasma effect when the weapon is fired. The filming of Resident Evil Apocalypse took place in Toronto, Canada. However, production faced a significant challenge when a SARS outbreak occurred in the city. The outbreak posed a serious threat to the safety of the cast and crew, and there were concerns that filming might have to be shut down. Despite these challenges, the production team successfully navigated the situation and managed to continue filming, and the production concluded in October 2003, delivering a finished product despite the initial setbacks caused by the SARS outbreak. Sienna Guillory is known for her natural blonde hair. To accurately portray the iconic character of Jill Valentine, Guillory had to dye her hair dark to ensure that she embodied the visual representation of Jill as fans had come to know her from the video games. Paul W.S. Anderson, who was an executive producer and scriptwriter for Resident Evil Apocalypse, was unsatisfied with director Alexander Witt's work. Anderson believed that Witt's approach to the film was not in line with his vision, leading to creative differences and mixed reactions from the audience. The character of Terry was initially portrayed in a more unlikable manner. In earlier versions of the film, she exhibited obnoxious and self-centered behavior, as evidenced in deleted scenes and the original shooting script. For instance, there was an extended version of the news station scene where her attitude was demanding and entitled. However, these scenes were ultimately cut from the final version, likely to make Terry more sympathetic to the audience. Additionally, a minor subplot involving her taking umbrella prescription medication was also removed to streamline the pacing of the film. These changes helped to refine Terry's character and make her more relatable to viewers. The early development of Resident Evil Apocalypse considered alternative storylines that diverged from the first game's plot. Some scripts envisioned the STARS team being dispatched to Raccoon City to combat the T-virus outbreak and its monstrous creations. Another script leaned towards a darker, horror-oriented approach, featuring graphic violence, gore, and numerous nude scenes, involving characters like Jill Valentine. These alternate concepts ultimately did not make it into the final film, but instead focused on adapting the events of the sequels. Renowned film critic Roger Ebert was so repulsed by Resident Evil Apocalypse that he vowed to never review another film in the series. He wrote in his scathing review, "The movie is an utterly meaningless waste of time. Parents, if you encounter teenagers who say they like this movie, do not let them date your children." And that's a wrap on our second part of Resident Evil Apocalypse Fun Facts. In part 3 of this series, we'll dive deeper into the behind-the-scenes magic of this movie. And of course, we've got more Resident Evil sequels to explore. So stay tuned for more hidden secrets and insights. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of this movie and its fun facts. Until then, stay sharp and see you in part 3.